Living in Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job, then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.
Hi there, my name is Calipos, the only boss with one S. Happy New Month to all of you. Welcome to a month of new possibilities. Do you know why life has been made so easy? It's because of Tap People, Tap Send is here to make your life easy if you want to transfer money to Ghana. If you want to transfer from USA, if you want to transfer from UK, Europe, Canada, a lot of places all to Ghana. And guess what? When it comes to Ghana, there's no e-levy charge. So, what are you waiting for? Download Tap Send on Google Play Store and App Store and be ready for exciting offers coming your way each time, every time on Tap Send.
Tap Send. Send more, spend less.
All right, Abusẽ for Mama Kwaba SBTV Africa. So 5:30. Thank God it's Friday. Mo be Kwaba. I feel we are joining our channel no so dia. Mama Kwaba. So first time I'll share so the voice of the community every Friday via no yeah live. Fridays 5:30. Many lawyer wisdom akaho. Wise man solicitors. Many live na program be a pa anti mo UK. And now our plans of UK and mo UK. Because sure so we the channel we so very important because info them out no nya no be bia udisusu abeboa eti oni aboso ide the obeya say we share like it na tap on subscribe so for drink chire comment section no wo question bi obese obisa na obeti bi ebisa no share link de ma onua bi menka say mfa ho share ma obi mun share share button or down share ko WhatsApp so Facebook so different platform groups near there. What questions so bet maybe sana bet maybe sana. Minaso fami DJ nyame na many lawyer wisdom akaho na eba be din komo yi. Na ya na Thursdays enra. Thursdays bia so no mo Germany Schengen. Many Aisha eba enra Thursday. Fridays 5:30 many lawyer wisdom akaho. Germany so mun share so Schengen for no. Thursday 6 to 7. Not just say I don't see a live inti program we share live and recorded obetimi the wa dwen kire aba o question bi obese obisa na obetimi ebisa no inti me train lawyer wisdom akaho wise man solicitors say obaba join here me nsa kana me go straight there Efo
DJ
Efo
DJ
me for strong for
o kata fun o ha to fun
everybody phone lawyer and our background there come up
let me see how on it
new office ana
me see
so me the background you be in background about the background the man assisa
DJ Jarok
Wise man solicitors champion in the size anyway lawyer wisdom akaho wise man solicitors omo UK London inti ban bibia ba immigration matters champions no omo de tuma yan reject o dey for me chiro de obey pepepe o chiro say yes ukoso a oyema so e be fa so what you say benye onye connection man very say connection man we lawyer onye connection man ono de ade na legit be chiro yes champion man pa anti I na ma contact no nti na de bia so me ne ba se onim se me so de omo ye obinfo na me try se me ne omo ye we so what you say nti lawyer and all the and nobody else the yen share the ba be den
Yo,
ye be share den
Michiobia anyway, Michiobia. DJ, if I show MC Michia, it's you for Nubia. Last week, my lawyer Francis and I represented Yedanasi
yeah
held the phone. Yes, and they share about, I'll say, yeah, wo UK. Sometimes na Obama na kofa Obana aba. Other times na Obama so kofa Obama na aba. Na sɛ nipa no bɛdu wie a na sometimes nteaseɛ ɛnyɛ adwuma
and
because
dey see bebre
bebree in fact it see almost every day because of yɛsi madamfo si me nua si saa yɛsi no nti ɛna ama problems bebree aba yeah na mostly ɛmaa no tie ɔmo ndamfofoɔ asɛm more than ɔmo kunu asɛm na ɛkɔ create more problems or mmarima no nso tie ɔmo ndamfofoɔ asɛm more than ɔmo tie ɔmo ndamfofoɔ asɛm more than ɔmo partners asɛm nti na ɛkɔ create a lot of problems. So when that happens, then it creates a lot of problems in the relationship. Right. DJ Mami, 1 minute, why?
okay
Yeah.
yeah trying lawyer no someone want the topic nti enter comment section no mo mba be join here mo fa ma adwen kire start mra wo question bi obese obisa na very important pa we topic on the buy wakofa both man and men nyina aha but you say abuse word in the super abuse me this is abuse me physical emotional ni nyina abuse nti e ba be di ho nkomo very important in your obey like all back
If I show my back, me that's it. That's it. You are
okay.
the best DJ in the world. Yo.
Any time I ever weddings, the parties, the radio stations, yeah, this is ya boy no more brainty. This year and they are retired.
Sir.
And there, you start ya boy ya boli nyina bi. Ye we yemu. My programs lebre abba my artists abba my wana mu nyina. Abba ko pem fine na my radio stations.
That's it. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they're different level.
no, thank you. So, to me, I can say sometimes Obama ko for Obama nipa na Obama sa Obama no kujuma wakoti eti ne namfufu asaminti. Things don't work out. Now it creates a lot of tension in the family. Now Obama can say, look, me na me do buy here. You have more 5 years, you have more 2.5 years, 2.5 years this one, me nye ma ubi up. Now I create a lot of problems. And now sometimes Obama no do Obama buy and also say, okay, because we won't hear my 70 after 2.5 years, now men family near my end fan support you, now I create problem. Now there's a lot of problems that arise. For 5 years now, and now 2.5 years now, we want to say, then that becomes the end of it. Sometimes it is due to the friend of domestic abuse, domestic violence. A honor and domestic abuse, domestic abuse. Now, you see, domestic abuse is talking about power and control. In other words, hina na wo to me, hina na timi ka ebem. And the definition briefly is any incident, idea domestic abuse is any incident, but mention no, idea any domestic abuse no, idea na ọbarima no anaa ɔbaa no bɛtumi agada de ashow sɛ wei ɛna me kɔɔ through ɛno nti na wɔre no gu yi ɛsɛ sɛ mogyina so anaa megyina so de nyam asetena. So we are looking at it in that order. Ɛdeɛn ne domestic abuse no ɛdeɛn na wobɛtumi de akyerɛ sɛ ampa na woyɛ victim of domestic abuse. Application bɛn na wobɛtumi ayɛ first, application bɛn na wobɛtumi ayɛ second, ansa na woanya wo indefinite leave to remain, and then how do you evidence that you've been a victim of domestic abuse? And you see, domestic abuser, any incident or pattern of controlling, coercive, or threatening behavior violence or abuse between those aged 16 or over who have been intimate partners or family members, regardless of gender, sexuality. Now, nti sɛ nipa mmienu a wɔyɛ adɔfo anaa wɔyɛ abusuafoɔ a wɔte bom anaa wɔnte bom mpo, but there is evidence of incidents or pattern of controlling, coercive, threatening behavior, violence or abuse towards any party, and not any friend of domestic abuse. No. Now, you see domestic abuser, and yet just say udi wonsa edi airborne partner, not just a physical touch. It comprises of a wide range of things. And to me was might discuss what it constitutes or what constitutes DV or DA, domestic abuse or domestic violence, DV. Then we'll go through where that you know exactly where you stand and what you have to do or what you have to start doing. Now it may go towards your stay. So first of all is physical. Physical is nipa na di ne nsa ɛbɔ sɛ wɔapia ho anaa wɔde biribi abɔ ɛno ɛna yɛfrɛ no DV no. That is physical abuse. Now, I know that obviously here na it shows mark no wɔ hɔ na anawoko GP that is evidence there. One will say ampa an hour reporting to the police. Now I just say ampa there's been a physical abuse or physical contact between the two of you. I know Eddie idea here. Now my main sister will have him said and yet a man in Kwana a year we are victims of domestic abuse. Quite often a man are victims of domestic abuse, but a year not memano anti anchor. Until they bottle it up, they suffer a lot, but a year not amonka. Because DJ said, Obama, Wadan Obama, we catch you so. Saleno, de Miri, Obumi Pao. Ubaka say, ah, now Obama Pano, now Homa, Oba Airbo. Now I am a new wounty. Onka, ya Shina sum, ya bonus, now I can't watch it, not your home. It's all part of domestic abuse. So the men go through a lot of domestic abuse, but quite often, ɛyɛ na ɔmo nka ɛma ne na ɔmo tumi ka ɔmo deɛ quickly and easily. Ɛmɛma no yɛ na ɛmɛma no ntumi nka that they are victim of domestic abuse. So physical no deɛ sɛ ebi a obi ɛka kyerɛ me sɛ ne kunu ɛka kyerɛ no and the other way around sɛ ɔde hot iron ɔbaa no sɛ ɔde hot iron bɛtare ɔno ankasa ne nsa ho na wafrɛ policefoɔ aka kyerɛ m sɛ ne kunu na ayɛ ne saa na ɔmo gyina ɛno so de apam no efi fie anaa ɔmo yi ne fi kuro no mu ha. That is extreme. So ɔno de hot iron ɛbɛtare ne ɔno ne body ho na wafrɛ policefoɔ aka sɛ ɔbɛrima no na ayɛ. That is all. That would amount to physical abuse if the police believe that that is physical abuse. And now the bono and our piano and this it constitutes physical abuse. The other one emotional abuse. Emotional abuse now any idea ordinance but nensambia obekano can constitute that. Example. So you see emotional abuse we are looking at putting putting the person down, making him or her feel inferior, making the person feel inferior, and making him or her think that he or her is lazy, inadequate, and playing mind game with the person. When emotional abuse. So to make the person feel that they are inadequate, making statements that affect the person emotionally, Ninya constitutes domestic abuse. So Mercy Sudio, when it comes to emotional abuse, putting him or her down, making him or her feel bad about themselves, calling him or her a name, calling the woman a name, or calling the man names, and then making him or her think that they are crazy or they are lazy or they are inadequate. Now all this is emotional abuse. Now it can all be evidence, it can all be proved. So maybe what the definition is, then I'll go to how do you prove that you have been a victim of emotional abuse, psychological abuse, etc., etc. So that is that. The other one here, using isolation. Isolation is just a kind of or share just a one war to me una wo control bibia so controlling near obano and obema ne beye ne namfofo a se so ho no ho omo time I so ko dwuma time I so obefie constantly pestering the person nina constitute isolation using isolation na o mpese ono kokko ho akosia ana adwoa ohun so ne nadamfo bi gina hope na jealousy abam na we use all this to justify your actions that I am jealous that is why me yes I did nina using isolation so let me say it is controlling what the other person obeye and nipa obehono nipa one ne bekasa the limit to which obetumi apie etc etc and not any friend using the isolation you are isolating nipa no from other people you are cutting them off it's all part of domestic abuse. Another one here, minimizing and denying and blaming. Minimizing, denying, and blaming. Now, near eno edge say sometimes over here some abusive comments. Abusive comments. Ewo nipa for enim. In the presence of other people, you make statements. Eba mo nipa ne feel say me cry now. I'm not worth it. I'm not worth it. In other words, wama wakum ni sunsun. Ano amount you are minimizing, denying, and blaming. And as a BBC pet, won't you share the source of the problem or the cause of the problem straight away? Then our shift is say, "Una waye." Bibi ebe se ufi hobia, bibi ebe si biano, papa na ye, bibi ebe si biano, mami na ye. Ebasa, you are minimizing, denying, and blaming the person. Then you put emotional pressure on your partner and on the other person and to shifting responsibility. Ade asese we no wonye na osi asese wo na woyɛ saying all these things teribi esi pɛwsi because who was usubanenti and I mean to me way always shifting responsibility and try to apportion blame and then you not constitute a friend of the domestic abuse. Another one using emofrano. Sometimes emofrano ewo papa ne nkyɛn maame no wɔ 2.5 years na papa no say xyz no nti mema wo mbɛhu mmɔfra no ɛno nso there's a solution to it biribi wɔ yɛfrɛ no child arrangement ɛno no wobɛtumi gyina ɛso ɛno nso wode bɛkɔ court na wɔyɛ child arrangement order na wobɛtumi ahu wo ma no but ɛyɛ a na one party ɛtumi use mmɔfra no paa against the other party to make the other party feel to make them feel guilty about Emofrano. Sometimes as someone as I say will catch maame no and papa no. Now what's my Emofrano say among rather than say Ubekano. That all constitutes a certain way of emotional abuse. Emotional abuse. And then also using visitation to harass him or her. In other words, court ama order say as I said, Mami and as I said, Papi, Emofrey twice a week or 2 times every month. Now, so who use him of answer? So when you way, it also constitutes domestic abuse. So it's all part of emotional, the trajectory of emotional abuse. Ninga eka to me, that can constitute the emotional abuse. Now, another thing very important here. Okay, threatening to take the children away. Obiwaka said, look, sir, one year way, anywhere, with the Mufranable Africa, with the Umbrella now, Omumbahabio. Sa behavior, no, it amounts to threatening behavior as well. Now, as it constitutes, it's a threat. Saudi Mufranable, who I say, mede mmɔfra no bɛkɔ meyi mmɔfra no afiri wo nkyɛn biribi saa no it all constitutes emotional abuse and that is what we also have to look at. Another very important one nea yɛfrɛ no economic abuse. Economic abuse ne sɛ papa no yɛ adwuma wie a bosome wo a ɛsɛ ɔma sika no kɔ maame no account no ne sika biara maame no werɛ fi sɛ papa no nso wɔ abusuafoɔ wɔ fie ne werɛ fi sɛ ne maame ne papa ne nuanom obiara boa no ansa na ɔbɛdu baabi a wabɛdu no nanso sɛ bosom wu a ɛsɛ sɛ papa no kɔyɛ account ɛma maame no sometimes no kora no ɔmotumi ka sɛ opay no ɛsɛ sɛ ɔba ɔno no account no vice versa anaa papa no bɛka sɛ me na mede wo ba aburokyire ɛnti sɛ woyɛ adwuma a ɛsɛ sɛ wobɛma me breakdown sɛ a wagye how much you spend your train ticket your bus ticket na ɔmo ayɛ calculation ɛnyɛ sɛ ɔmo ɔyɛ no in good thoughts or in good faith but ɔyɛ with the intention to control the other party's financial or economic well-being ɛno nso yɛfrɛ no using economic abuse using economic abuse so these all constitute abuse now preventing wo na wobɛka adwuma a ɛsɛ sɛ the other party no ɔbɛyɛ ɔkɔpɛ adwuma wei a wosi daabi mpɛ sɛ wokɔyɛ saa adwuma no because ebi saa adwuma wokɔ akɔyɛ no wobɛhyia too many women mempɛ sɛ wokɔyɛ adwuma anaa saa adwuma wobɛyɛ no mmarima bebree wɔ hɔ dodo nti woanhwɛ a na obi akɔ so wopɛ all is stemming out of obi bɛka sɛ out of jealousy but actually it is a subtle way of economic abuse. It's a subtle way of economic abuse. So preventing the person from getting a job or making him or her ask for money from you every time. Debia said, Obano every peer, Jesus or sika and sana with me AP. So Okoto Bibia, Jesus or sika and sana with me AP. So on any freedom, vice versa. So Papa so here Bibia, Jesus or and sana when you sika. Ansa na ɔde ayɛnia ɛsɛ sɛ ɔde yɛ so ɔbɛsane sika akɔ fie a gye sɛ ɔma account nipa na ɔde sika no ɛrekɔma no ne nti a ɔde sika no ɛrekɔkɔ akɔma no ɛsɛ sɛ ɔma up to 1 penny or 1 pence definition or explanation as to why ɔde saa sika no kɔ it's all down to control ano ɛyɛ adeɛ a yɛfrɛ no using economic abuse anaa sɛ papa no ɛwɔ n'account po a yɛkɔyi sika a gye sɛ ɔma reasons ne nti a ɔkɔ akɔyi ne sika maame no kɔyi ne sika a ɛsɛ ɔma reasons nti a ɔkɔ akɔyi sika all this again constitutes the yɛfrɛ no economic abuse ansana anaa ansana wobɛtumi ayi sika a ɛyɛ wo deɛ no anaa mo deɛ no you have to give a detailed explanation before you are able to use that economic abuse, and so we should take note of that. And then we also look at using, you see, male power, but remember, using gender power, treating Obama say, "Oh, ejuma sasa we ni we ayo Oba ejuma, we ayo Obama ejuma." There's a na wo chiche ejuma na ni ayo Oba ejuma na ni Obama ejuma. Saa no, na sɛ yɛbɛdu kurom wei mu a na nneɛma no afrafra nti obi ntumi ho nea ɛyɛ nea deɛ ɛyɛ okay sɛ nteaseɛ wɔ mo ntam sɛ wo na wobɛyɛ sei me na mɛyɛ sei ɛyɛ okay but sɛ wo na wokyɛ adwuma no sɛ wei yɛ ɔbɛrima adwuma wo na ɛsɛ sɛ wofra wo na ɛsɛ sɛ wohuba wo na ɛsɛ sɛ wovacuum the house wo na ɛsɛ sɛ wopepa windows na no da biara wo na ɛsɛ sɛ woyɛ wei wo na ɛsɛ sɛ womo lawn a woakyekyɛ adwuma no sɛ ɛyɛ ɔbɛrima adwuma and also constitutes domestic control, domestic abuse. And also having. And I also Obama dear, as I said, Obama na as I said, Oniadiani at all costs. On Tiapo or Tiapo, a Obama Juma said Oniadiani. This creates a lot of confusion and a lot of misunderstanding. Not at Yakoba in terms of domestic abuse, it constitutes domestic abuse. Now, when that happens, it creates a lot of tension in the relationship. And it sometimes leads to a warrior ebegu. And no, the next thing I'm going to say about is once near na ebi wɔ hɔ a wobɛyɛ dɛn ɛna wanya evidence sɛnea woka no saa na ɛteɛ wobɛyɛ dɛn ɛna wanya evidence obi bɛka sɛ emotionally deɛ sɛ mentumi nya evidence ɛnyɛ adeɛ a mark bi wɔ me ho ntumi ɛnkyerɛ it is possible to evidence emotional abuse or psychological mental obi abuse you possible say obetumi aye evidence. So number one, so bibi sa here as a set will contact with GP. GP no as a set will catch from near air cost na ɔmo document bibia ɔmo twerɛtwerɛ bibia ɛnto hɔ ɛsɛ sɛ ɔmo twerɛ bibia ɛto hɔ from beginning to whatever stage at which you are nea start time a ɛstarte yɛ nea ɛrekɔ so nti ɔmo bɛkapta nyina ato ɔmo record so another time so the same thing happen bio a again wobɛma ɔmo wɔsan akɔ bio na GP no document bibia ɛnti wobɛkɔ few times na wabuild your evidence. That is one. You build your evidence. And the emotional torture now will go through. Psychological one I will go through. Ninyano. GP never church will be being now. Now, dear, na GP no what recommend you will set call influence and counseling. And the counseling now over corner. A part of the proof. You have been a victim of domestic abuse. So sana etia, then certainly or evidence from your medical source, your GP. Without a GP, you are not able to show any emotional, psychological abuse. Sometimes na a physical o bia na ordinance account or piano down the stairs with tea up high and visa. And also so they could GP. GP never show the incident now what treatment now omuji mauna as a set training now training now to so omu training now to us sana a better evidence for you to prove in future say you have been a victim of domestic XYZ. So any hosa then certainly only any basis would not sue at the agriculture. So that is one GP. Number two, counselors. So I call any counseling and so I'm on letter. I should say, what about for counseling for X, Y, Z for so and so. Based on a no, I'm on record. I'm on edible to I can say you've been for treatment, you've been for counseling to help you go through this process of abuse, to cope with the abuse process. And with that, and also what evidence. The other thing is that, sir, a physical abuser, as a sort of police for any police for any na obunso my document be a ɛwɔ near all pressing charges and then near all pressing charges no on record so ɛkyina sɛ asɛm bi si as a warren group and a relationship ne break it down now want to mean to us be more that is evidence enough for you with me also the higher application to the home office I just said my worry agree because not one party was abusing the other party. So evidence was also any over to meet now so now would the application. So evidence anywhere that I'm sorry you don't have any basis to prove that you have been a victim of domestic abuse. So you must have your evidence to support your application. Without the evidence, I would say you have no case. Without the evidence, you have no case. Now, I've talked about the GP, I've talked about the police, I've talked about the GP, I've talked about the police, I've talked about the counselors. I've also talked about parties. Now, let me talk about this one too. There's a third, and organizations that help people to cope with as victims of domestic abuse. Now, when it comes to the UK, there is this organization called Black Sisters. Black Sisters. They help women who are victims of domestic abuse. Black Sisters help women who are victims of domestic abuse. Near Omoyani say, Ombeteme, I'm always here, so corporate nampo. If you're not a woman, I am toxic to the extent that and yeah, dear, over to me at not a hobby. And based on that, now what are you careful at? Now what you end up losing your life. Now because of that, they would ask you not to stay in the house in which you were with your partner. They move you to another place, whilst they move you to a secured place, whilst they try to find a permanent place for you. When that happens, you have to again, you will be under their tutelage, their guidance in terms of counseling, in terms of assistance. Almost some prepare reports. So I've talked about the GP, I've talked about the police, I've talked about the uh, independent social support providers. That is in terms of Black Sisters for the women. And then when it comes to Emema, you've read the organization Mankind, Mankind, Mankind. Ọmụ na ya ọmụmụ mmarima a ọmụ nso ọmụ yɛ victims of domestic abuse. Mate story bi a papa ne maame ntiase anyɛ adwuma. Maame no ɔwɔ kitchen na ɔreka banku na papa no kɔɔ kitchen hɔ no ɔkeka biribi. Asɛm a ɔkaeɛ na maame no yii bankuta a banku hot one ɛwɔ so na ɔpan ɔde ahwe n'asom. Based on that, that is evidence of domestic abuse. Clearly, that is a physical abuse. Vivisano, it can go to court, it can go to the police station first of all, and that is assault, and then obviously goes to court, and on that basis, it constitutes an evidence or evidence that can be used against the other party. So that is it. That is it when it comes to domestic abuse. It's a wide range of nyamana that are there to support your application. Now, so we gather all this evidence area. Sometimes, sorry, elders, family members, nina etnibum are professor ampa. Niamani air consono, yabo modern set, you bet to me, I'll resolve a problem now. Say, Pastor, bet me a letter, say, I, me cry me I will try to resolve these problems, but I need here. That is evidence enough for you to prove, say, you've been a victim of domestic violence, and they've tried to resolve the problem, and unfortunately, it's not been successful. So that is a basis on which you can go. So let me go over the sources of how you can gather the evidence again. Medical evidence, your GP. Number two, police reports, not once, not twice, not three times, but as many times as it has happened. Then you look at the independent sources, that is either Black Sisters or Mankind, or for the men, there's another one called Respect, RESPECT, Respect. And not another evidence, another institution, an organization, men who are victims of domestic abuse. So they call them Respect. And also the second institution is called Mankind. So with this, you are able to establish or evidence. So GP, please, Mankind, Black Sisters, Respect, all these institutions can show that you've been a victim of domestic abuse, psychologically, emotionally, financial, and also sexual. And so with all this, you are able to put together all the evidence actually said you have been a victim of domestic abuse. Now, so what gather evidence what do you do? Remember, sir, we're sitting on is at stake because the other party said on finding nema and support you with it because would so and I'll base it on or abuse it because of that on finding nema and support too. Video clip one party was being abused. Now in this case, normally yeah say a member abuse of a man, but in this case not obano and abuse of a man. Obano ya wonu UK her whole life, all her life ya wonu UK. She's lived here, all her mindset, thinking pattern is totally different. And na oko Ghana, em say busianfo kwa na yema na oko ware papa eba there's a nyama enko ye. Send papa ni no, his mindset is totally different from me. Obano so agency and just say enye juma. And just say enye juma. Because of that, papa no the evidence of CCTV or the camera it's here. Send ya my military molesting or ultimate shin some kicking all here, and the man was able to capture all of this to prove that he's been a victim of domestic violence. There was one time, my did be born, papa no ohwe fam, or in the 98 and so, or 80 and so, sir. Unfortunately, never funny said, Ofifia, Ofifia, on to me, and Yana sitting on the biomonti, or Hosa, not yet, corner, gradually. He was dying slowly, but he didn't want to leave. So the evidence is very important. Evidence is very important and has to be proved. It has to be used to prove that you've been a victim of domestic abuse. So, evidence gathering I've mentioned, GP, police, independent organizations, pastors or churches can also come in to prove that you've been a victim of domestic abuse. And on that basis, what do you do? So, what's that evidence here? Either sɛ woatu afifie hɔ anaa wowɔ the same house. So saa na ɛte you need to complete a form called DDV. Yes, domestic violence concession. And then your friend, the form is from DDV. DDV, domestic violence concession. So unya sa complete sa form what will happen is that they will give you, the Home Office will give you idea your friend 3 months leave to be in the UK based on the fact that you are a victim of domestic violence. Now your months have 3 months now. Over to me benefit. ABR because of the abuse you want to me and but me but because your months have 3 months over to me age benefits. I want to me engagement what me benefit. Meanwhile, before we're sitting on the bill, make sure so you apply for indefinite leave to remain. And yes, I will go for another 2.5 years, but you're going for indefinite leave to remain as a victim of domestic violence. And then you're going to set DV. The first form here, DDV, domestic violence concession. And no, more 3 months. Destitution, domestic violence concession. Destitution, domestic violence, DDV concession. Destitution, domestic violence concession. Because of abuse, Nancy, you are not in the right frame of mind to work. And if you are rent and cry, won't venture, and as a cow with the crown, only be, I don't see you have more 3 months, out 3 months now, but me get you benefit. I would be sure that cry. And then you proceed to apply for the indefinite leave to remain in the UK. Indefinite leave to remain in the UK based on the fact that you have been a victim of domestic violence. Now, when you complete the set DDV, set DV, set DV, I know you're indefinite here now. Won't train Emma was sitting on the ansana why is application. You can do it as soon as you have your evidence established. As soon as you have your evidence established. Number more, indefinite leave to remain straight away. Indefinite leave to remain. Not another 2.5 and 2.5 and 2.5, but indefinite leave to remain based on the evidence you have. And yes, I will do one piece of paper, and now one day I walk up police for hunting will sit up indefinite. And it will not happen. It will not happen. So you need to have sufficient evidence to prove your case. If you have that, then you stand very good grounds of proving that you have been a victim of domestic abuse. On that basis, Ombudsman indefinitely to remain in the UK. And then, of course, who call for in British citizenship, you can there proceed to apply for your British citizenship. If your partner is or was a British citizen, immediately you get indefinite. But if the partner had limited, what do you call it, the indefinite leave to remain, then you have to wait again for 5 years from the date you enter the UK, 1 year on top of the indefinite before you can go for your British citizenship. So, DJ, briefly, this is what it is. When we talk about domestic abuse, it constitutes a whole range of things. And yet, just one thing, as a physical ordinance account, but using intimidation, looks, the way you even look at the person, sometimes is enough to make the person feel inferior. Wafa papa phone, they be ufi phone and say, "Dang, information been on the phone." So that is also a psychological and emotional abuse. Of course, he has got his privacy. The fact that you are married doesn't mean that he hasn't got his life. He's got his privacy as well. So they be on the phone too. You go scrolling, looking for trouble, looking for something to base your argument on. That is, of course, abuse. Opening the other party's letters, always, not once, not twice, but always, even without their permission, that also constitutes some degree of abuse. So, intimidation, using intimidating languages, actions, gestures, smashing things, destroying his or her property, abusing pets, displaying weapons. Now, sometimes, and yes, I do but send your audience a straight table no soprano, a money panisro, it's all evidence of domestic abuse. Anaa ebi a wowɔ etuo koraa etuo no sɛ nyɛ sɛ woretu mpo but wakɔfa wahyɛ da afa tuo no na wo polishi etuo no ne nyinaa worekyerɛ nipa no sɛ indirectly sɛ this is what can happen if you don't sit up or if you don't behave properly. It is all psychological torture. Now we talk about the emotional one, that is putting the person down, making them feel inferior, making them feel insufficient, making them feel inadequate, and making them feel, let's say, they are not up to it. So, Ebasa, it is also emotional abuse. I'm just summarizing. Using isolation, controlling the nipa as I obane ho and obema no ho. Debia, wefre, kojo, wine, 4 o'clock, about 5:30, unya medufie, aden wahe, unehina ne woho, unehina ne kasa, every day, controlling, it constitutes domestic abuse. And now, every time, obema ne be call, when you call ne pe, hina na uneni kasa ye no. Kuna na onene kasa yɛ no ɛdeɛ na mo kaayɛ anaa nea ɔba no yɛ akasa wie pɛ na papa no abisa no sɛ hena na onene kasa yɛ ɛdeɛ na mo kaayɛ adɛn nti na onene kasa is all control. So domestic abuse is very wide, very wide, very wide. So we shouldn't take it lightly. Minimizing, blaming, making light of the person's abuse, etc., person's circumstances, making them feel guilty or using the children against them, it all constitutes domestic abuse. Then using gender privilege. This is what a man must do, this is what a woman must do. You are defining what should be done and what should not be done. All constitutes domestic abuse. Economic abuse, I've talked about it. Controlling of the finances, determining who should decide, who should do what, who should distribute the money. Not by agreement, but by control. You decide who should do what. Preventing the person from getting the job that they are supposed to get, but because you are afraid that they'll be exposed to other people, you don't want them to take their job. That also constitutes economic abuse. Of course, again, using coercion, threats, making them carry out threats, making or carrying out threats, or to do something to hurt him or her, threatening to leave them to commit suicide. Yeah, sometimes you say, look, if you don't do this, I'm going to commit suicide, etc., etc. It's like you are putting a fear in the person not to behave in a normal way or in a certain way because of the action you are threatening you will take. And that puts them in a very difficult position. So when it comes to domestic abuse, it's a wide range of things that constitute it. So I've talked about what it is, how to gather the evidence, what application to make. Initially, the destitution, domestic violence concession, and then from there, you can make application for the indefinite leave to remain on the basis of set DV. On the basis of set DV. Now, on that basis, I will leave it here. And if anybody has any questions about this domestic abuse, I'm more than happy to answer. Or if they indeed have questions on any other aspect of the immigration rules we've talked about, you can ask it, and I'm more than happy to respond to your queries. Thank you, DJ.
Nice one. Wise man solicitors, champion man, lawyer wisdom, akaho. Ide form keke. you did form. You did form.
You get vibes. So, you get vibes.
Sisiano. Yet it's interviews with Brahma a common into where most important and educative way out there about topic out there about but no do one until we move. You better abuse. You say, oh, we be abused. When you come on, can so Mona Mohono crown am now banning them now from banner crown idea. I said, you cry abuse. Aha, boys the job girls. We just see more tone in the where's the camp. Yes, no one who's channel now. I say, oh, baby girl, now we know wait for police. I'm all all my words, them very you crowd. Police.
Last time,
for you. It's me, mama raps. Monday, I know this is a call line. It's near type. Love, girl, love, boss. I love you, beautiful. And no, I'm a online dating. By your own physical, near friend will say, oh, beautiful lady, how you doing? And then now, can I have no money? And then, nah, you're for police, mom. And you say, oh, abusing it. And I know some count.
Well, it depends. It depends on how you go about it. Also,
it's no boys no more. Cause I'm be some say, "Oh man, no born you yana because you're from a tired is handy and you're from a turn. Remember, Obana believe you. So what I say?
So music bia or Kia over one side.
Maybe I'm quite direct. No, I don't know about a piscine off. So what I say? Okay, nice one. It's abuse na mumbisa the question for abuse me so mudi the questions normally bisa na arriving like I'm abuse or matter I say because me who question mumbisa on the topic not the buy no I want questions on the topic not the buy no but the almost I'm so me okay G lovely questions on the buy and there no there okay so question time let me there to na
before the betu hono me nipa bi na ono oba UK ha no o se ohia obroni ba bi say now I desperate ope krata nti ohu na o se would you marry me
well again I go ka say be siwe ni so ama will you marry me say oni mu wan
first day o say I love you would you marry me there's a one say on your corner is that how you marry all the women in the street
and then and they're straightforward.
And then the one that me disri, and then the one that me the Canadians, but it was a serious matter.
Will you marry me? Hey, when I abuse and police are more straight. Will you marry me, say? Okay, so lawyer, let's go by. Obviously, send you a voice note to me, but don't respond here.
Oh, sir, yesterday no one sound sending mommy right now. Yeah, note to the door. So yeah, Casa crowd. The calls are coming from Cambodia and Kikaika. We are not able to respond.
I say Vivian. Also send you a voice note.
But Mr. On sending me right. Vivian, please resend it to me again. When we finish the program, then I can respond to it.
Okay, so let me take this one. Let's go.
Okay, G Lovely, a Nigerian woman entered the UK on a visit visa. She found and had a child with a British and got British child. She has 2.5 years leave to remain now. Question, okay. She later had another child with an undocumented man, and the man also has 2.5 years leave based on the second child with 2.5 years on discretionary leave to remain. Assuming that a discretionary leave application is made, but this time the child is a Nigerian with pre-settled status, will it be successful? Yes, sir, we have application based on a child that has pre-settlement. Pre-settled status, EU route nisu. Sir, what now for 5 years, ammonia settlement. But what now for less than 5 years, your mom pre-settled status. Yes. Sir, wouldn't you need any contact or in terms of any relationship? No, sir. Obano, Obia, or pre-settlement. Of course, Ubetimia application based on Ubana or yeah, a minor or pre-settled status. This would be Article 8 human rights application. And you are making it based on the fact that you have a child that has limited leave to remain. Abofane Mame can say, oh man, MP, MP from how with you. And of course, you can also not remove the child from the UK. And maybe you have a very good relationship with Ubana. And it is in the best interest of the child that both parents raise the child up in terms of the child's best interest. Section 55 of the Border Citizenship and Immigration Act 19, 2009. Now, with all of this, you can make that strong argument. It should be successful on the basis of Article 8, your human rights and your contact and your involvement in the child's life. Yes, that is an application that can succeed. Yes, so DJ, it's possible. It's possible.
Okay. So next.
Richard Sego. Richard Sego. Now, Richard Sego is asking, congratulations. Richard Sego is asking, I said, please, my sister's application is still at the Home Office after they requested for administrative review. Yeah, me ban ababa catch me so anya juma nti. Me man, congratulations, you've got a job, first job in life. Thank you. All right, so my sister's applications at the Home Office after they requested for administrative review. It's been long and still waiting for answers. What's the best advice she can, what can she do? Administrative review takes a very long time, very, very long time. A big have been there for over 1.5 years. A big 2 years. Home Office, no Amabase, we apologize for the delay in resolving this administrative review because we've had a lot of backlog, etc., etc. Unfortunately, until they get back to you with a decision, you can't go to appeal. So you may have to write to them to ask for the progress of the application, or if there's any emergency, you have to send them the evidence why you think it's an emergency for them to expedite the decision of the administrative review. But let me make you understand, sir, administrative review is taking a very, very long time. 1 year and beyond. So if yours is within 1 year, 1.5 years, that is very normal administrative review. Some come quick, some take a long time. So that is what it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes. Now the next question is Ibrahim Munkaila. Ibrahim Munkaila. Uh, Ibrahim Munkaila. I said I arrived July 2003 and still undocumented with my 20 years will be July this year. However, I am unable to count for the 16 years that I had lived to be that I had lived in the UK. Can my church and friends write letters for me? All right, so I'll say I am 20 years, but I got 16. I got only 16 years record from my GP. Can my friends and church give letters to say they know me for the rest of the 4 years remaining? Can I use premium service and how much does it cost? Okay, yes, usually the very first year na nipa nipa no. Yeah, so one but two nipa pepe bi, and one but two nipa pepe bi. Omo bo hu sa, ukoye we a police for you, ukoye we a. Until not a lot of people don't have evidence in the early years. Now, so uye juma in any of those early years, and now sorry be in any of those early years, and the church can confirm that you've been a member of that church from time now over here, and they have the church records. Yes, church actual letter more. Friends, they don't place a lot of weight on the friends letters because when you are down for obviously they want you to be in this country. So friends letters they don't place a lot of weight on it, but the church letter, yes, they can give you a letter. Friends can also give you letters anyway, but the weight will be placed on documents obtained from the independent source rather than from friends and family. Now, Sawaye Juma within those first 4 years, anywhere, whether say we use one kasa wuding and now use it in for still no, Sir, call those employers home. We have a way of doing it. You have more letter. Now the information be there too so. Now the amount of employer now to confirm say work any so person. Say wow, then of course. Now once they confirm it, we will be able to use that to apply for you. So last 60 years, perfect. First 4 years, letter from your hospital, letter from your church, friends, family, even though they may not place weight on it, and letters from your previous employers if you can find them. But that is what we do. We set it out very well. And I can assure you that if everything is in place, you can get your stay. The first application, the standard application fee is £1,048. That is the standard one. OPEC super priority, you pay additional 800, so it makes it £1,848. £1,848. That is the proof of the, or that is the payment for the super priority. 1848, 1,848, 1848. That is for the 1 day service. And yes, you can do it with all the evidence. You should be able to get your stay within 1 day. So yes, it is possible to work it out. But what I also say to people is the if there is a gap or there are gaps in the years with Nahana, make up your mind that you may end up going to court. Because if the Home Office does not accept the evidence that you provided, then they are likely to refuse the application. Then you take it to court with people coming or witnesses coming to support that. Look, we've known you from 2003. We've been friends. We've attended occasions together. We've spent Christmas together. We've been to child naming ceremonies together. We've been to weddings together. We've been to funerals together. And these are some of the pictures that we've had over the years. Now, if all of this can be used to support the application, then a judge who is open-minded and really practical would understand, so yes, even though you were not able to provide evidence for the first 4 years, the fact that other people have come to support you or to give witness or to be witnesses to your case that they have known you over the years with supporting evidence, that can make your case succeed. So it's either the Home Office accepts the first time you're successful, or it ends up in court where you need witnesses to go and support your case. So yes, and thank you. I think Obi besides is the said DDV free. Yes, it is a free application. The DDV, the set DV is different from DDV. DDV is destitution, domestic violence concession. That is free of charge. DDV is free of charge, but the set DV, the settlement, which is for the indefinite, you have to pay the fee for that. You have to pay the fee for that. Ruth Owusu. I am a citizen of Brazil, but a Ghanaian. We have access to visit Ghana for 90 days. So we have access to visit the UK, I'm sorry, for 90 days. What happens if I come to the UK to give birth without residence of UK husband? Can I get a stay in the UK with my child? Now, if your spouse, your husband, who is in the UK, is having indefinite leave to remain, or they have British citizenship, your child becomes British automatically if the child is born in the UK. So, if Auntie Ruth, you come to the UK, you give birth, the child's father has indefinite leave or British citizenship, your child is automatically a British citizen. You can also get your stay through your child and you'll be in the UK. But if the child's father does not have the right to be in the UK, he hasn't got any leave to be in the UK, unfortunately, the UK law doesn't allow that once the child is born in the UK, the child becomes a UK citizen automatically. No. It's not like with some other countries where as soon as the child is born there, the child becomes a citizen of that country. UK does not operate that system any longer. So the child will get their status either through their father, leave to remain, or their mother's leave to remain. So let me say it again. If the father has indefinite leave or British citizenship, the child becomes British automatically. If the father has nothing, the child will have nothing. You would also have nothing. You have to wait till 10 years or 7 years to apply for the child and then apply for yourself. But if the child's father has limited leave to remain, which is 2.5 years, then you could apply for 2.5 years for the child as well, based on the fact that the child is living with the father and the father has 2.5 years, maybe through another child. They can give the second child 2.5 years. And then you, the mother, can also make your Article 8 application based on that child. But that is not guaranteed. It's not as guaranteed as if the father is having indefinite or having British citizenship. So that is my response to that aspect as well.
Okay, so I think the questions by any of the two screen so no. So how many questions be there? I'm going to say you okay. Waiting so far no. The other by no me okay because some more questions are anka the beba but for now no say any other way be wa obetimi ato aso say bibia ni ho dia na bibia ni ho dia na che say ye dia go no bebe wie ba bibi wa be say o de to aso obetimi e dia to aso ya.
Yo, thank you. DJ, this domestic abuse thing I hear, Kano, is very serious. Yeah, a cost super. And I'm kind from the beginning said, and yet a man on abusing a man, a man to me abusing a man to the extent that it gives them mental health issues. But yeah, now man and to me and not only are showing then one day they explode, then it becomes an issue. I'm so recently you see Ghana Navy or US are shooting a shooting at home, and all sort of things. These are all issues that arise because of suppression, and maybe the person has bottled up this abuse for a very, very long time. And because of that, one day they explode and it becomes an issue. I would always say, sir, as soon as you spot that that abuse is going on, as much as you can seek for advice, seek for advice, seek advice from the authorities, your GP, the police, the independent organizations to help you. You are not doing with the intention of breaking your marriage, but you are doing with the intention of at least having some evidence so that if you see a now, you have a basis on which you can have your stay. I have seen a lot of people, a man the Yomaba, almost Yom, not 2.5 years new year, Obano, Unibia, Overco. Especially Omo Niba, sir, Winnie Ubaye, na Uoba, not because of domestic abuse, relationship need break it down poor. Then you can always switch to Uba, or Sitna. You can move from the partner route to the parent route and also Ubanyawa Sitna. And now sometimes the relationship need break it down due to domestic abuse. Na emofana kodi omo amenchen na mama ni say me ma wo mehwe wo mana na me ma wo hu wo mana. The solution is take it to court, take it to the county court for child arrangement order. Ontime nkase unhu uma and wonhwe uma. The fact that you and the man have problems does not mean say wodi beko abofra so. Abofra na nsomaza monwo no. Abofra na nka nkyerɛ say monwo no. The child did not ask to be born. So once the child is born, you should not use the child as a prop to do your bargaining or to punish another person. You can resolve your problems. If you can't resolve your problems, don't pass it to the child. The child is independent. The child is innocent. Don't use the child as a weapon against your wife or as a weapon against your husband. The child should stay out of this. Go and use the right sources to get your stay. Meant now, so emopranity, and then you end up dying, you will die, emopran will go on with your lives. but better say you have a solution so that you'll be around to help look after your kids as well. So, DJ, that is what it is. If anybody is having issues with domestic abuse, go to the right authorities. Speak to us. We can direct you to where to go, how to gather your documents, how to gather your evidence. Then, at the end of the day, you can get your stay to be in the UK. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
Obi say, we are social studies teacher. Hey, any other come on,
Uh,
social studies.
that is true. Hey, Nathaniel, Akwesi, saying, yeah, I was. Can you drop your number for with DJ? Take my number from DJ and then let's and call me back. Yes, that was my. I was a teacher,
Eh,
Medina Islamic JSS. I was a teacher, social studies teacher, and also
eh,
somewhere around the Dodowa district, I was a teacher there as well.
champion man,
I think
social studies teacher.
I was once upon a time.
Oh, nice one. Anyway, lawyer, say
Yes,
maybe I knew obiom there. I think say yeah, the baby. I mean, him say, I'm sure and then you know, you're okay with that
yes,
topic out the buy, and so they don't
yes.
have any questions. There will be any question or other questions. So maybe I think say the only abani I can kind of Nyame adoma.
Before Obekono, I have
Mm.
had information about I'm saying kind last week or the week before. No, not last week, the week before. Omuba with sponsorship license, with dependents. Go through a lot of problem at Heathrow Airport. Papa, papa, papa.
Mm.
The detention is becoming so high.
Eh.
Seriously. And say, but I don't understand also. Very simple questions. Nkawunya answers to this question. Maybe there. Yeah, for very simple questions. I want to know my answers. And today, you know, a one immigration officer, one officer will be question. Now, want to know my answer. Naturally, everyone will say, if your relationship now, okay, so, and you're genuine. Not the problem about. Yeah, besides that, when I'm worried, I won't kind of worry. Oh. Wobɛtumi sɛ look wokunu na ɔyɛ adwuma bɛyɛ ansa na ɔnya adwuma wosi wonkae adwuma a wokunu ɛyɛ anaa adwuma a woyɛ
Hey.
come on
And maybe a connection for no. And we can say because sanya connection for reality pa there.
exactly
Reality pa there. Say so because
ɛnso
reality yes, yen kind of reality pa there say ukunu a one nete, one na wari a one nete. Ah, reality pa there. So one na wari a on kai day a one wari mpo a ejuma na oye. Eno so
exactly
say, nso kra onim.
yeah na
Well,
ama
ebe ka tempest for no.
but ɛyɛ cut and paste mpo a
Join for ya join into ohunso. Ebisa no ana ebisa no we can be na we so can di.
ɛno
We can
nti na
say
ɛsɛ
it's
sɛ
in fact.
woyɛ obi a wompɛ kasa mpo a ɛne wo kunu mu ntena ase na biribiara ɛda den nti ase ayɛ adwuma woahu ne father side ne mother side ebinom wɔ hɔ a wɔyɛ awarefoɔ but wɔmpɛ kasa ɔyɛ very quiet but some information is here you have
Ose we are for umpekasa.
to
Master before ebe ware no, say before enye say sorry na e ware you. See e date.
oh DJ oh ade a meka no ɛsɛ sɛ me
Sisi ano wo no me hu de o kan no say o massage ade no ba yen ka me ka the reality. O massage we say o massage ade no ba reality no. Me no wo share ya ye de say 1 month 2 months pu na. So nim ye me ye.
by all means ɛsɛ sɛ
How so la dem so qualify ade o massage ade.
oh
No credit dey say ka no credit no. And na only obi why na unnim adwuma oyɛ anaasɛ unnim questions we da mo ware ni ade.
ɛno
And
nti
unnim say be man po ye rate me fees ade ma de omre fees ade no.
aye remember there sometimes yeah
Date no
on
date me
the
fees
date
dey
of
make
birth
na kai say be a 20 yet na kai say be a 2020 but on kai exactly month ni day ni po.
ɛne deɛ
Ba man dey omtimi kai.
ɛne deɛ DJ mɛtumi aka akyerɛ confidently papa bi a meyɛ application ama ne yere ɛne ne mma mmienu ɔno biological DNA akyerɛ sɛ ɔyɛ ɔmo yɛ ne mma maybe sir any my date of birth. Or friend my menans and all the date of birth.
Oh, no, almost na yen kwa no. Yen na say kwa we me fi kwa wa ngasa wo date of birth kwa rate mi fi.
Also like church. Or friend also mommy say could you date of birth right there?
Ba no, e man kipi sa
Yes, yes, yes.
sa we no.
And yes, near can say uba. Power ukuno kuma uba. Ni ma bi wo ho na yesremo. Esese wo. Esese wo. Now but do it to her. What go through peacefully and smoothly. Na unya asembia. Enye sa ebe how. Na but you passport. Omo cancel will leave. Afi na okọ court. I am very stressful. Yesremo do the right things. Not obia, you have your peace of mind and everything.
That's what make I know be able come say we a professional lawyer. So we dey won call the straight. We massage asem no. Me nya lawyer. Me my own be dagbo pen. I just dey talk to them.
I worry for the young Kasa or the Americans.
I didn't know we have a show on say we a professional lawyer. So we dey they turn over massage in kakra and they are say but me there I don't be professional, I don't be lawyer. So me layman they talk the truth. So make wanna do wanna homework well. If you know say your wife they go do your know everything. I put me beside one can just say mu kwat me beside boxer shorts or shey na and I'm buying me beside.
They can ask anything, so just be prepared.
Kala boxer shorts kala or shey na e be beside.
Yeah, so,
immigration officer no who so I say Bema no ro atade en hwe kala o she na ebi se oba nti boxer short kala be no share.
that would be too intimate. That's raw. They can't go to that extreme. Yeah, but my home obia what I'm sorry, I've said it questions and answers our paper so you can't do that. You can't do that. Questions and answers. Open the date of birth or address. It's not right. Yeah, na yedi ho di ema, you know, nti yesremo.
The okay ni the no cre on a serious way ni the no cre hard being said. Ebia ube say sika we nyina bebre saa na ohwe bra obre na sika wa say the obo a wo ni ade bia ma guidelines ni ye ni ade na wa ko do airport wetin me free kotoka atena plane mu so fa bia hwe bia sisi akra ticket ni bo the heading
And easy.
1,000 something pound watena bia mu ana wa ya transit wa ko do na se broni na hu sheki a ana se India ni ana se wan na hu no wa hu sheki na refi bra obre nyina from the one sika wa say nyina no na ebisa asem na ototo papa so
Yeah.
hey yamo de aboa o futaya so we reach the format no go work yeah ma o dey round down because any me you wana kan tell say me gba fi o sesai hey anala ya ebe ja ya onsa ya say ani na me bi ma bot ticket ni ade afu player be you know abre piaba na o so bi say me question na me tutu papa so say me kura me papers me bibia dey say me o mitrim say me ya na me churo e nti me tutu papa so na on kan tell say me mra fi sesai
And the application I am now, as a Saudi application form, no information I was so as a Saudi because sometimes
hello BBC no.
Yes. Okay, very good. How about holding copy of the application form at the airport? I prefer you don't hold it, but you must have the information now. I was so no. You must have the information because I think the cultural exams work questions and answers no one them that baby. And say a natural set wouldn't it would be aware. Never be aware. If you don't need to write it down. Who be something you reading? I know it. A date of birth. Be the Asia, a Juma all year. ne papa, ne mame, ne nuanomo mano. I have it just like that because it is real. And when I say woman yet no credit. Because near woka, near Bemanica, near people, so didn't I prepare? Ubia Miss I can be a but so Oka A, no because B, none of people so a W a honor problems no. Ever. And
Now, I think that's almost beside question, cannot be so 1, 2, 3, no, who say, unimu left and right. Oh, Hano.
that's it.
Oh, so
Sometimes
I feel like I say there are 10 questions, so be so
sometimes it's the confidence with which you speak. You see, eye contact, confidence, or
Yeah,
beside
discussing about no one.
we can
I think
discuss
what 10
that.
minutes be, what 10 minutes be, and chip is out there, and very important. What's your
Okay.
kind of your
Yeah.
confidence level? You do immigration, you do airport. Sanya man go for brain. Or best start shaking the first time, no shaking there. I mean, what's my education
Yes.
on the confidence?
That's fine. Yeah. Demeanor, your appearance, the way you even approach. Yes. Confidence. Look, you have nothing to hide. It's a genuine relationship. You walk there confidently. Say good morning. Hello, how are you? So you can even start the conversation. Hello, how are you today? You know, confidence, eye contact. So we have to say who avoiding the eye contact, it creates impression. Eye contact. Don't dodge questions. Don't evade questions. If it's a straight question, give straight answers and let it be accurate. Okay. But if it's a question, that's a one who done a question, or you want to avoid the question and go to ask another question, straight away you are evading the question. And Manipano said there must be a reason why you don't want to answer the question and not on Ubi Sano. And I will answer different. So confidence, eye contact, be bold. Yeah, Nemi can say, Nipana all this nature hono. Or a human being just like you and I. He is not, or she is not a god. She is not an angel. Just like you and I. Or Kojaria on share suit and our dear share shower and I say, or no to say you and I. They just happen to be there and you just happen to be here. So have confidence, speak to them. Sometimes the way you speak is the whole thing. The one time I was traveling from the US to the UK, me do airport on the first lady. Those times I didn't have to use the e-gate. I had to go through the queue. We do one upon I'll say hello, hello, mom, how you doing? I say fine. And I say how have you been? When did you start today? Have you been working for how many hours now? I say oh, I've started just about 2 hours ago. I say oh, where are you coming from? I say from the US. Okay, have a good day. What do you say, mommy? Pine, me call. Just like that. So the way you even approach, the way you even started, it's of course. But you're already scared. They read your body language. They read your body language. Don't be afraid.
Air condition, up, and boys is sweaty.
Charlie, now,
Now boys is sweaty. Who's
yeah,
that? Immigration for us almost steady. Maybe I don't know. Steady. Who's no party? We are
yeah. So,
document abano.
why, yeah, who the good, the bad, and the ugly, and so who bad now when you say way back, or who ugly when you say way, or who good when you say good. And you have to, all that I can say is be confident, speak up, use your voice. Don't use your inside voice, use your outer voice. You don't shout, but your voice must assume confidence that you know what you are talking about. And be nice, be polite. And sometimes you start the conversation. Look, I'll give you an exact example. Madame Fubiko interview our American embassy in London the other day. Odu Hono, your friend to the window said, I'm checking the papers. Odu, well, say she came to tell me, I'll say, as soon as she got to the window, the guy was, fidgeting with the papers. And then she asked him, how are you? Why? You haven't had breakfast this morning? You seem to be disorganized. Why? Into or no starting conversation. So the lady said, "Oh, hi, how are you?" Or Obama, hey, how are you? I'm a bit disorganized this morning. So instead of interviewing and I didn't come up within or back for 2 weeks, we're on 5 years straight visa. So it all depends on the way you approach the whole thing. Miankasa, those years I went for interview at American Embassy to come over. Obisam said, "Do you speak Twi?" Obroni Kokoma, Obisam said, "Do you speak Twi?" And I'm saying, "I'm an Ewe, I speak Ewe." And he asked me, "Efonya." In other words, how are you? In Ewe. And I said, "What? Pardon me?" I said, "Efonya, you say you're an Ewe." And I said, "Yeah." And then I changed the conversation. "Have you been to Ghana before?" They said, "Oh, he hasn't been in Ghana, but he was in Togo." So instead of interview, it became a conversation. Now I'm back for 2 weeks, or the same me 5 years. So some of these things, it all depends on the way you approach the whole thing. Be confident, don't be afraid, and don't avoid their eye. Be confident, and I'm sure you'll be fine. Maybe next time.
And say eye contact. Yes, so she ni sa. Who say so she ni one sa.
Very important. Eye contact, very, very
Who
important.
she ni one sa. No, no be ni ni. Me boy, who she ni one. Who she sa.
Yeah, contact. Maybe one day we'll talk about the body language and all those things too, and see how it also helps us in these things.
Okay, obiti me bisa when you signing out.
I like this. Make it make sense. Can I petition the UK government to return Ghana's gold? Oh, this is interesting. This is for another day. DJ Yami, he has made me laugh on a very good note.
So obiti me bisa. It's me them that too.
That's
Obiti me
it.
bisa.
Thank you very much. Maybe I made a reparation or whatever it is. Thank you.
And
Yo,
anyway, wisdom account. Wise man solicitors here. That say. Obiti me the address now. 24 numbers. Ne go. Screen so office number ne. Ni mobile number. Nti mobiti me. Arichi no. Nti lawyer mo address no.
yo. Why Smart Solicitors, number 8 to 9, The Print House, 18 to 22, Ashwin Street, London, Dalston, London. Postcode near E8 3DL, E8 3 Delta Lima. Dalston Junction. Telephone number near 0208 0165 384, 0208 0165 384. Mobile number near 07931 411 042. 07931 411 042. Mufre officer with me book your appointment. We can have telephone conference or you can come in person. They've been more very far away. People call from Ghana, people call from all over. You can't come. We can do telephone consultation and all the information that I need to give you, I will give you. So be sending me voice notes and a message number when to me and respond. Please send it again. It will come on top of it. I can respond to it. Yeah, now information is needed also. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten to you. Just come back or just program. I've seen somebody has been calling about 5 times with a number which is not a UK number or Ghana number. Yeah, I need to return that call and other calls. So please call back and I'm more than happy to assist or book. We are more than happy to assist. White Smart Solicitors. DJ Nyame, thank you. God bless.
Nice one.
Next week we'll be on known grounds.
Okay, obisi me bisa we.
Okay. 4 countries are struggling in the world. Do Ghana embassy also interview white people like that? I have a Nigerian friend. I have a friend who is a Nigerian. I'll say, my brother, black man, even if you are going to hell, you need visa. Even if you are going to hell, you need visa.
Say, yeah, mining year.
That is it.
Yeah, mining year.
You see?
Na yenye adwuma ne bibia ne structures ne year. One e be ha no so otukwa akọ obi manso. We call for visit unko ka ho so ko ho so ni ade Africa. A problem no. Baya me bisa se Paul Kagame ba na ne nkrofo no mutu kwan sa na. Said we also why ho no minim se o mutu kwan sa. Lo me bisa about Rwanda.
to be very honest, meant to make and come much about their immigration system. But
that means so to coin like also to take to so be from also so to coin by UK ni Adiana.
maybe one or two from Rwanda, and to say Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, a lot. But Rwanda, I can't. Just maybe one or two. It means that at least the system is accommodating its own people, creating jobs for the people, and people are able to at least make ends meet. They may not be the richest people in the world, but at least there's some degree of comfort. And see, Rwanda, not as many as other nationals are we deal with. The Nyawakano, I'm saying you hit it right on the head. That the system.
Ade ba kwa me woni say. So free African countries in India, or free Africa. No different countries. Say Brazil mumponi adia. Omo tutu kwan kwan pass omo tutu kwan go different country. And to say yeah wa no minti asi wo. They make cannot say they way struggle and say you say especially West Africa for your call abroche ni ade embassy be bresa ni ade. What different countries now from nyama. So we different when visa journey any problem more. But yeah there. And I'm saying yeah say you quiet ma.
And also come on.
And say are you quiet ma. Even there. You quiet ma to my ass anana because I don't know. And sometimes me kind me party be a check. Or say American no more guys some message be by and say me name say Babioma. I'm quite maybe like no me more message and another cook say call holiday no person call US. Also call Gabon. US embassy in the world. I'm commander. As some me catch you. I'm visa no. Counselor so say there no. Obi ani ho because no sekwa yara in French no mo count. Omo mpe America, omo mpe English no. Omo mpe France. Also call any mbisa na hwe 5 years. As some me can. Was the early 2000s more. But hand we been obeying nam hard. You be punishing. Oh, nya visa ni sabe message letter head ni ade okoye na team. Charlie, yes, a man yes bibi fa ho. Na ya so ya kan bi first na ese nya dey sisi ano. Ye kwa ye ma eno so kan. Lawyer the why do you know what talk anything. You know say what are they talking be the truth. One guy. Obi say black man need visa for hell. Hey, lawyer, someone be carry him.
I just mean I make you, madam. Honestly, madam from Nigeria, maybe. Or say, or I can say, I say, I don't know what the black man has done. Even if he's going to hell, he needs visa. And Sandy Paramikas as a real estate developer in the in Lagos. He is a multi-millionaire, but sometimes over 2 he has issues. Into your baby home, and I'll say, my brother, why? What have we done? Black man.
Ebe ye money ye na ye money ya ebe visit na ebe kwa aba. Ye nkotro mu nchen say ko so. Ye money ye na ejuma wa na manfo etu omu ye ni ade a. Menye so say ebe ka say ha ye won say etu kwa akọ. Browning Chrome. In develop ya say em gwa na money ye. Ene ya asem no. Enti lo ya me da say. I will come out. Yami aduma next week Friday be share. Guys, madam say somebody joining SBTV Africa Live today. When say every Fridays be ano, ne lawyer wisdom, aka wise man solicitors. Man de church kakra brem say be am be hu left and right. With me share me brief film. Sa auntie. Ida man say mo share Michael Hammer me da say. Jean Lovely me da say make it make sense. Me da say Lucy Buama. Thank you so much for watching. Omo Baba, thank you. Nathaniel Kwesi, thank you so much. Ruth Ousu, thank you. Ibrahim Munkala, thank you so much. Richard Sego, thank you so much for watching. Vivian, is it Agua or Agua? If I don't mention it, forgive me, Vivian. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. My name is D0mẽstic. Charlie, I'll thank my production team, DJ Click, Sharon, and Tina. Like, share, tap on subscribe. New videos ready. I mean, yeah, cause on the new video I drop it. I better drop it too. And sana, adiasa. Enti tap subscribe in actual video. No, a guy not for Libya. A corny story near heavy pa. Guy not for Libya. I say the grandfather, the papa, who you know, no one say no. The papa, the grandfather, who you not cash in fee. No one say no. They need to take the wine say for struggle. In story be very heavy. So part 1, part 2 could do Germany so. And you more fame into your home. And I may drop it latest video biome into the SBTV Africa Chidia. But it's sempa a bebo also. Madam, I say, Shamu Kroma, I said tour, no, my just to tour. So, tour.